Kane is in the building.
What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys another fantasy sports podcast, episode 46 of my podcasts. And tonight we have a bunch of games on tonight's NBA slate. I posted last night's NBA team, the cash team, and ended up scoring 302. It was easy winning in double ups in tournaments. The GPP team that I also posted won in tournaments. It just cashed. It didn't go up too high, but both teams hovering right around 300 points, which is what we like to see. The NHL team also cashed in. So for all you members that are NBA and NHL subscribers, it was a good night for you guys. Let's keep it going tonight in NBA. There will be no NHL tonight. There's only 2 games. But PGA starts up tomorrow morning. So we'll be getting right back into the golf swing of things. No pun intended. And we're going to be jumping right into tonight's slate. There's a couple injuries, but not too many as of now. It is the NBA, so there could always be something that develops later on in the day. There's always 1 or 2 guys who are, unexpected news right before tip-off, so it really makes us hang on to our hats right before as we get into the slate. So let's jump right into tonight. I'm going to go over the injuries. There's not too many, but there's some big blows. One of them being James Harden. He is diagnosed with a hamstring injury. It's a big blow to the Houston Rockets. He could be out all the way up for 6 weeks. So this is going to open up a ton of usage for guys like Chris Paul, Eric Gordon. Those 2 guards should benefit the most from this Harden news. The whole Rockets team in general is going to disbenefit, but from a fantasy perspective, Gordon and Paul are going to benefit based on usage in fantasy points. Joel Embiid is doubtful tonight, so we can go right ahead and talk like he's going to be out for the night. Normally when a guy is doubtful, they're certainly not going to play, especially when someone's doubtful so early in the day. Oladipo is still out with a knee injury. That opens up a lot of usage for the Indiana Pacers. Vucevic is out. Biyombo's been getting a lot of usage with him out, but his price has gone up so much that he almost doesn't matter. Draymond Green is a game-time decision with an ankle injury. Lonzo Ball is a game-time. Russell's been out. And that's really going to do it based on serious injuries. Mirotic is a game-time decision. If he's out, look for guys like Bobby Portis and Robin Lopez to maybe get a few extra minutes bumped up on their game log. So jumping right into point guards, I'm looking to spend up on the top tier point guards tonight. Russell Westbrook against the Lakers. This is a premier matchup for him. He's in really good form. If you look at his game log, he hardly ever gets under 50. He's going to be looking to get up easily into the 60s tonight. I don't think the Thunder will blow out the Lakers. They're in Los Angeles. The Thunder haven't been playing well all year. So I think this game should stay close. It should stay high scoring. And Westbrook should really, do Westbrook things in this game. I think he easily gets over 50, gets into 60, and reaches value for your cash teams. I'd certainly suggest picking Russell Westbrook. Another guy I'm looking at, I mentioned with Harden's injury. This immediately makes Chris Paul an elite play. Even at a price of $10,000, he's going to probably get into the 50s in fantasy points tonight. No issue. He has a fantastic matchup against the Orlando Magic. And this is going to be the first time that Chris Paul is really going to be that, go-to guy on the Rockets. He's been playing with Harden this whole year, so this is going to be a new experiment for them. But he is a superstar, and he should be able to thrive in this position. So Chris Paul makes for an awesome play at point guard. I love picking Westbrook and Paul for your 2 point guards tonight. They certainly could reach value. Another guy you could look at is Eric Bledsoe at 7,100. He is a pretty consistent player as well. His price point has been right around $7,000 all year, since he's been on the Bucks at least. barring that, miserable stint he had with the Phoenix Suns at the beginning of the year. He's been great with the Bucks. He basically scores over 30 fantasy points every night. He's a good cash game play. If you're not looking for Paul or Westbrook, you want to spend down a little bit, Eric Bledsoe makes for a great middle tier play at 7,100. Shooting guards, I do like Devin Booker at 7,800. I get that it's hard to spend up for all these guys, but if you can mix and match, it should work out well. Devin Booker is a rising star, if not already a star. He plays crazy minutes for this Phoenix Suns team, and he has a great matchup tonight against the Nuggets. His price actually went down a couple $100. It was $8,000 last night. And he wasn't even playing that well last night. He had like 24 fantasy points towards the end of the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter he just turned on the Jets. And all of a sudden I look at my team, and he has 51 fantasy points. That's just the kind of player he is. He can put up a boatload of points in about 2 or 3 minutes. He did it last night. He had 10 real points in like 2 minutes last night in the fourth quarter. Booker is just that kind of player, and he's always going to score up towards 40 fantasy points for you. So he's a good play at 7,800. Eric Gordon is also another good play at 6,600. Like I said, with no James Harden, expect him to see big minutes tonight. He should be able to play alongside Chris Paul tonight and play pretty well. His last 2 games haven't been great. I'm hoping DFS players look at this and it steers them away from playing Gordon tonight. I think he's going to have a good game tonight. He should see into the 30 fantasy points. Hoping this keeps his ownership down. The usage is going to be there for him tonight. He has a great matchup against the Orlando Magic. Expect this game to be fast-paced and expect this game to be very high scoring by the end of it. And it should stay fairly close. For small forwards, if you can spend up for LeBron, he's in a pretty good spot. I would rather have Westbrook and Chris Paul as my studs. He just doesn't seem to be, he gets the 55 he needs at 11,000, but he doesn't seem to exceed it as of late. With Kevin Love back, with Isaiah Thomas isn't playing tonight, not that he really matters, but with Kevin Love back and them fully healthy, LeBron doesn't have as much usage. I just think Westbrook and Chris Paul are in better spots tonight. You can certainly play LeBron. I'm just not going to be looking at him if I can't fit him in with Westbrook and Paul. If you can fit him in with Westbrook and Paul, then really, really good job by you. But the value's kind of hard to come by tonight, so we're going to see what happens later on today. Small forwards, tough thing to call right now is Kawhi Leonard. You definitely want to note this because things could change later on in the day. Kawhi Leonard played last night. He played 30 minutes. There's no news on him possibly getting rest. He is coming back from his injury that's held him out all year. But I want to assume that Popovich is going to still keep things pretty safe with him. And I'm guessing they're going to rest him tonight on a back-to-back, especially coming off of a 30-minute game. He hasn't played 30 minutes all year. So I'd be pretty surprised if Kawhi Leonard plays tonight. My prediction is that he's not. And if he doesn't, this is going to give Kyle Anderson a good boost. At 4,900, Anderson will be most likely starting if Leonard's out. He'll see easily over 25 minutes, and the usage will be more on his side with Leonard out. The reason why Anderson is also a great play if Leonard's out is because Rudy Gay is also out. So that small forward position is going to be pretty thin for the Spurs tonight. And this should really benefit Kyle Anderson. He could be a nice little value play at 4,900 at small forward tonight. So keep an eye on the Spurs news. They are playing at 7 o'clock, which is really good news for us because that means we're going to have to hear news on Leonard before the game, before the slate locks. It always sucks if you're waiting on injuries and the guys play in a 10:30 game, because you're never going to know if they're going to play or not. I hate game time decision players that are playing in those late night games because you have to have a team by 7 o'clock Eastern. So The Spurs playing at 7 tonight really helps us out, so we'll definitely have news on that Spurs starting 5 before the slate locks. For power forwards, I'm looking to spend down a little bit because we're basically spending up everywhere else. So I like Kyle Kuzma at 6,100 if he is playing tonight. He is listed questionable, but I think he's going to end up playing tonight. His ownership should be down after a bad game last game, but he's been great other than that. 6,100 is a huge price drop from him. He was up towards 7,000 last time I checked, so keep an eye on Kuzma and his availability tonight. Another guy you could look at is Marquese Chris at 5K. He has been playing really good as of late, which is what I thought I would never say this year. Chris had a span where he was just doing nothing. It was like a few weeks ago. 10, 19, 7, 5, 6, 5. He hasn't been playing well, but the last 5 or 6 games, he's seen like 25 to 35 fantasy points, and he's been seeing over 25 minutes in those last, 5 or 6 games. So he makes for a good play at 5,000. He has a pretty good matchup, too, against the Denver Nuggets tonight. So Marquese Chris makes for a pretty good cash game play at power forward. Serge Ibaka is also another guy you could look at 5,800. This is one of his lower prices of the year. He's been very consistent. If you look through his game log, he basically gets up towards 30 fantasy points every game. He makes for a pretty good play. He has a great matchup against the Bulls tonight. So expect this game to be pretty high scoring. The Raptors and Bulls both play pretty good offense with pretty bad defense. So Serge Ibaka could be a really good play at power forward. For centers, with Joel Embiid being doubtful, I do like, what's his face? Let me go right over to Philadelphia on centers. Richaun Holmes. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. He should be playing tonight a good amount of minutes with Embiid out. Jeez, my voice. Holy shit. He always gets a good amount of minutes when Embiid is sitting out. So expect Holmes to play a good amount of minutes tonight. If he's not starting, I'd still expect him to play some good minutes off of that bench. Keep an eye on things, though, as we go on later in the day on Richaun Holmes. Another center you could be paying, mid-tier for is Steven Adams at 6,700. Adams has a great matchup tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. He's been a pretty good starting center for the OKC Thunder all year, so I expect him to have a really good game tonight against the Lakers. He should see over 30 minutes. He's had a couple of tough games the last 2 games. This should keep his ownership down. He only needs around, 31, 32 fantasy points. And I think he can do it. He has some good upside. His ceiling is pretty high, and his floor is pretty low. So Steven Adams makes for a pretty good play at center. Keep an eye on him when you're making your lineup tonight for the center position. That's going to sum up this episode, guys. I hope this helps. It's kind of a tough slate. With all these games playing tonight, you would think there's some value. There's a lot of tough value to come by tonight. The injuries are pretty slim. It's really weird to see the NBA this healthy. There's always guys that normally have injuries, but it's pretty minimal tonight. So, and I just noticed, I don't know if this is new, but Jeff Teague is out for tonight. I don't know why I never saw this before. This makes for an obvious play of Tyus Jones at 6,400. He's going to see over 30 minutes tonight, so he could be a good play as well. He's not a must play because his price is pretty high, but just remember that. I thought I'd just throw that in there for you guys. I just noticed Jeff Teague being out. Tyus Jones could be a pretty good play. He plays pretty well in Jeff Teague's absence, but that's going to sum it up. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe below. And until next time, guys, I am the FD Guru, and I'm signing off.
As the world spinning, dance in my hands. Life is a beach, I'm just playing in the sand. Wake up and smell a pussy. You niggas can't see me, but never overlook me. I'm on the paper trail.